I stood in the sacred waters, immersing in the Sangam, the confluence of Ma Ganga, Ma Yamuna, and Ma Saraswati at the Mahakumbh. It was not an ordinary moment. I was witness to 12 other Sangams, and I will talk about each of them in just a bit. And at that time, the Devas and the Rishis were showering their blessings. Millions of people had gathered, as every generation, just opening to the flow of grace. The Mahakumbh has been the Sangam of all Sangams, just as sacred rivers merge into water. More than 66 crore people, 666 million people, young and old, rich and poor, spiritual and religious, Indian and non-Indian, able and differently abled, devas, rishis, and other beings merged into an ocean of consciousness that transcended many boundaries, creating a world record of sorts. It was the world's biggest peaceful religious gathering of all time in a temporary constructed township on a river sandbed in just 2 to 4 months. And so, being a witness to and a partaker of this, I am very moved to share the profound significance of 12 other Sangams that I saw that manifested. One, Sangam of Shraddha in Jyotisham. See, the Trivedi Sangam continues to flow and merge in Prayagraj every day. Then, what made this Magha month, that is between 14 January and 26 February 2025, particularly auspicious, was the alignment and position of Jupiter, that is considered the planet of wisdom, the position of Sun and Moon in Makara Rashi, that is Capricorn, the deity of which is Saturn. All of these created a very powerful spiritual vortex. And these combined effects of planets created and charged the waters with such tremendous blessings that even the devas are known to come here to have a dip. So, this Sangam was a demonstration of Bharat's Shraddha in Jyotisham, Vedic astrology, which is not a pseudoscience because the deities of the planets moved us literally from our homes and, of course, metaphorically and blessed us. Two, the Sangam of Bhakti. Millions expressed their bhakti, loving devotion, gratitude, and reverence differently. Many stayed in the Kumbh area for a certain duration called Kalpavasa to perform their Anusthana religious disciplines. Many did their mantra sadhana. Many did Parayanam, recitation of key texts. Many did extended hours of meditation. Many others attended spiritual discourses of many acharyas of different akhadas, reveling in wisdom and bhakti. Many collectively sang stotrams and bhajans. Many people performed elaborate pujas and yajnas. Anyone and everyone passing by would chant Jai Shri Ram or Jai Ma Gange, Jai Ma Yamune, Jai Ma Saraswati. And everyone else would smile in recognition with the same bhakti bhava and join in unison. Every single one joined their hands in prayer for their love for Bhagwan, creating this wonderful Sangam of Bhakti that has uplifted and inspired everyone and is etched forever in our hearts. This Sangam of Bhakti created an upsurge of Shakti for Sanatana Dharma. 3. Sangam of all Sampradayas. Different spiritual traditions, lineages, paths, and teachings converged here through the Sampradayas in a beautiful harmony. From the Aghoris who eat meat as sadhana, to the Vedikas who strictly eat only vegetarian food, no onion, no garlic either. From the akhadas whose presiding deity is Shiva, such as Arjuna Akhada, Niranjani Akhada, and so on, to the akhadas whose presiding deity is Vishnu, such as Nirmohi Akhada or Bairagi Akhada, from the sadhus who have learnt Shastra Vidya, the knowledge of wielding weapons, to the acharyas who have learnt Shastra Vidya, the knowledge of the scriptures, all showed respect to each other, held by Sanatana Dharma, which has upheld the coexistence of diversity. Private discussions and debates were held on the way forward for Sanatana Dharma, and action points were drawn up. It was the Sangam of all age-old Sampradayas, teaching traditions, as diverse as they are. 4. Sangam of Karma. If one really wanted to purify oneself physically, a bath or a shower in our homes is more than enough. But what is it that motivated millions to have a dip in these waters was Shraddha in the reality of the karma framework that shapes our lives. Shraddha in karma is not just mere faith, which is a belief subject to verification. Shraddha is a deep implicit trust and understanding, in the words of the Guru and the Shastra, which reveals the relationship between the person, the world, and Bhagwan. Shraddha is the understanding that what is written in the Smriti and the Vedas is true, them being the status of pramana, a means of knowledge to know what is really true. And so, in seeing the law of karma as reality, Shraddha took this form that karma that is aligned or not aligned with dharma gives us both visible and invisible results, punya and papa. That dipping in the sacred waters will bless me with punya and erase the accumulated papa. That punya and papa are invisible to the naked eye because they are adrishta karma phalam, but are results accumulating in every jiva's account, which will transform into experiences of sukha, happiness, and dukkha, sadness every day. That this rearrangement of punya papa will happen at the level of the causal body, karana sharira, leading to an upsurge of blessings all the way for all my life pursuits, paving the way for a happy, peaceful life. That one is responsible for one's karma and one can choose to do karma that lifts oneself out of the karma cycle of birth and death. It is for all these aspects of Shraddha in the karma framework that millions undertook this yatra from near and far. That the destiny we experience now are the choices we have made in the past, and the choices we make today will shape our destiny in the future. That one can actually be free from the negative effects of past karma and one can perform karma for the future. Such was the Shraddha that this extraordinary effort was undertaken by pilgrims to reach Prayagraj, which became a purifying, unifying force, aiding the purification of the mind, Antakarna Shuddhi. A lot of Sharirika karma was done. Long phone calls for coordination, leave was scheduled, kilometers were walked, money was spent on train, bus, flight tickets, stay in Prayagraj. Lot of Vak karma was done. Prayers were chanted, mantras were chanted. Manasika karma was done, especially for those who could not make it to Prayagraj but were very lovingly brought back some of the sacred waters, tirtha, to then add in the waters that they took for a bath or to just keep at home to purify their homes. Mental karma was also done. Thus, it was truly a Sangam of Karma of past, present, and future. 5. The Sangam of Tapasya. In response to Arjuna's question about what sannyasa and tyaga is in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says that yajna, dana, and tapas are kartavyam. And kartavya means should be done and should not be given up. So devotees undertook upavasa, that is fasting, walking for hours while chanting, going for a dip in the cold waters before sunrise every day, meditating, praying for hours on end, to practicing yogasanas, kriyas, pranayama, etc. These sadhanas in the form of tapasya build a very strong spiritual foundation to tackle anything that life brings in its wake. Yatris were amazed to see sadhus perform tapasya, such as standing for years, having a lifted hand since many years, etc. And in performing this tapasya, one pushes the limits of the body and mind such that one experientially understands that I am more than the body and mind. Tapasya fulfilled its purpose as millions broke free from the shackles of I cannot do this or I can do this. Thus, it was a Sangam of Tapasya, a fulfillment of one's own tapasya and an inspiration to continue. 6. The Sangam of Daanam. Some people say there is no free lunch. This was proved wrong at the Kumbh Mela. Almost every tent complex had Annadanam, that's food that's served free, no questions asked, no conditions placed. Not one of the million yatris slept hungry. Fresh, hot vegetarian food was served tirelessly to all the yatris outside and inside the tents, and even for pilgrims who were just passing through Prayagraj for just a day or even half a day. Many yatris had come to just serve voluntarily in the different tent complexes. The cab drivers, the boatmen, the sanitation workers, the security forces, the locals, the shopkeepers, the local vendors, and the government officials barely slept, but went over and beyond the call of duty to offer their shrama effort. Dhanam of food, wealth, effort requires stepping out of one's insecurity and asking, what's in it for me? One requires to step out of this constant orientation. Millions demonstrated this through helping elderly take a bath, assisting people who were lost, serving food, directing people through the tent city. And such was an outpouring of dhanam, giving, especially in a Tirtha Kshetra like Prayagraj, which generated a tangible field of Shakti that inspired and transformed all who entered it. It was a Sangam of Daanam, a giving of what is helpful, which paves the way for giving up what was never truly mine, that is, possessions, dependence on people, situations, and identities in the first place. 7. Sangam of Anugraha, grace. As millions dipped in the sacred Sangam, we opened ourselves for Anugraha or blessings to flow through us. Everyone, without an exception, rediscovered the power of surrender to the divine, touched by the grace that flowed abundantly there. The grace manifested through unplanned darshan of sadhus, sudden encounters with siddhas, accomplished beings, unexpected darshans in temples, finding one's guru, to many being initiated into sannyasa and other spiritual practices, and so much more. Blessings also manifested through visions of devas and rishis, divine signs for the way forward in life, a clearing of the burden that one might have carried in life, renewed clarity and purpose for the way ahead, an infusion of Shakti to power through one's challenges, and a steady calm that descended in the midst of everything. It was a Sangam of flowing grace. 8. Sangam of Seekers and Mumukshus. Never before have so many seekers of liberation gathered here, creating a powerful collective aspiration for moksha or spiritual freedom. While there were the seekers of selfies and instant fame, there were enough blessings for them to recognize that what was being chased was ephemeral. Amongst most, there was no flashy display of wealth, nor power, nor seeking one-upmanship, as the Sangam was a great leveler for all. Everyone's combined spiritual practices and earnest seeking created an atmosphere conducive to deep transformation and realization. 9. Sangam of Dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects those who protect it. Sanatana Dharma found its fullest expression here. Every aspect of the gathering became a living demonstration of principles and ethics of Dharma, from the politeness and courtesy of the police force to the tireless organization of all services and facilities of government officials, from the forbearance of people who walk kilometers to the peaceful conduct of pilgrims in harmony, to the sharing that occurred spontaneously among pilgrims. The efficient organization of this massive gathering and the cooperation between various authorities, organizations, and individuals reveals how Bhagwan conducts his cosmic dance through the framework of Dharma through human instruments. The cosmic framework of Dharma was protected because Dharma lives and thrives in the hearts of the Dharmis. It was a Sangam of Dharma. 10. Sangam of Moksha. The battle between the Devas and the Asuras was for the Amritam of immortality. Vedanta teaches us that the unchanging nature of the Atma is Amritam, Namritam, not subject to death, which can be known here and now. The bodies will die, but that which can never die is oneself, the Atma. So the ultimate purpose of life is not wealth and not pleasure, but moksha, liberation from the sense of bondage became tangibly present here, even for the wealthiest of people. The atmosphere was so charged with the possibility of spiritual awakening, especially because of the combined presence of realized beings and sincere seekers. This was a Sangam of Moksha, freedom from the sense of bondage. Personally, I experienced a major shift in my life after my first Kumbh in 2010, after the Amrit Snan with the sadhus that were led by Juna Akhada in Haridwar. And I can vouch for a fact that this Sangam Snan really accelerates one's progress in the spiritual pursuit. Sangam of Ananda. The unchanging nature of the Atma is Ananda, a fullness that nothing can add to it, nor can anything take away from it. This Ananda, on which no conditions can really be placed, was manifested in different ways. Delights and cries of Har Har Mahadev by the sadhus rushing into the waters, the joy of offering prayers at the sacred Sangam, a wave of relief of reaching the Sangam, happiness through connection with the Devas and Pitras, the peace of being with one's family and friends, and a nameless humanity united in a common experience. It was a Sangam of Ananda. And finally, 12, Sangam of Shakti and New Beginnings for Bharat. This sacred Mahakumbh gathering marked a renewal of Bharat's spiritual heritage. Each Kumbh Mela reinvigorates the spiritual current that has sustained this ancient civilization, pointing the way forward while being rooted in timeless wisdom. The Lalita Sahasranama reminds us that Devi Lalita is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini, that Devi is in the form of the power to desire and wish, power to know, and power to do. And that Shakti is present in all beings. So just as even the humble ant walks towards a sugar crumb because of its Kriya Shakti, due to its desire, Ichha Shakti, and collaborates with other ants through Jnana Shakti, because the sugar crumb is too heavy to carry, so too, all beings are equally blessed and at all times with Shakti. There is not a single moment when these powers to desire, to want, to do, to know are in short supply. And it is this very Shakti that we all received in that Sangam that have allowed our ancestors and ancients to build this civilization where Sanatana Dharma lives and is practiced. The Shakti of the Hindu comes from his or her sadhana, tapas, and a commitment to dharma. The Shakti of the Hindu comes from knowing that kartavyam, responsibility, is taken, not necessarily given. The Shakti of the Hindu comes from harnessing the blessings of the Devas and the Rishis, allowing the Dharma in our hearts to flow into all our karma. So, how will we use the Shakti that we have received? The Kumbh is over. Still, the question remains, how will we use our Shakti to build a better and stronger self, a better life, a stronger community, and a strong nation? Maybe the Sangam of Shakti can be guided by the last mantra of the Rig Veda, which shows us the way forward. Sangachadvam sangbadadvam samomanaamsi janatam deva bhagayatha purve sanjanana upasate. May you walk together harmoniously. May you speak together. May you understand each other's minds. And just as the Devas from ancient times completed their work, so too you must act. Har Har Mahadev. This was my third time of participating and partaking of the blessing, of the joy, of the Amritam of Kumbh in Prayagraj. Previously, I had participated in 2013, 2019, and then, of course, recently in 2025. And before that, in Haridwar in 2010, I received these blessings over all these kumbhs. And I hope and pray that you have got a glimpse of the joy of Mahakumbh. And at some point in life, you will make it there and experience this for yourself. Har Har Mahadev.